I don't put any fat because for me I feel it's too messy. That's what I feel. I feel it's very messy. So I don't see any reason why after a breast lift I would want to put fat inside the breast. I feel it's going to be a little messy. So in that way, I don't do it. So I would rather allow that breast, either small or big, to heal first. After healing, then I can now augment with fat. If I'm really tempted as a plastic surgeon to even put fat into that breast, I would rather put like 100 cc, which is a small volume, into that breast, rather than putting a large volume. You can ask other surgeons that have done it. If they've done enough, they will understand well enough that. And that's why often if you go to, for some of you that always like to compare doctor this one, doctor that one in America, in Asia, in America, in this one, go to their page. You hardly see them transfer fat to the breast. And even when they are doing it, they will use a 1cc. You see them using 1cc small syringes. Just put a little to augment some small parts, maybe 20cc of fat around, not a large volume of fat into the breast. So that one I can clearly tell anybody that. So for me, if I'm going to be the one to address the issue, I'll do a lift first. If I need to put a fat graft to that breast, I'll just put a little volume, maybe 10 mils, 20 mils of fat into each. But for me, I feel that with injury already, inflammation and swelling, I would rather delay the grafting of that breast with fat until when there is complete healing of that breast, then the patient can come in. So one is that it's not all breasts that qualify for fat grafting. If the breast is too totty, meaning that it's too flat, or need a lift, I will just advise you just do a breast lift. If the breast is a large breast, I will not advise you also because it's too large. The volume you will be needing will be a lot. I've done 200, I've done 300 in the past. Should I tell you my experience? Majority of the fat to the breast don't survive. They don't. I've realized that. And that's why when clients call me for consultation, I'll tell them, from my experience, fat grafting doesn't do well in the breast compared to the butt. Because it was something that I was also curious about, which was the reason when I do attend international conferences, I asked other people who are older. Because there are some people who have been doing this job 25 years, 30 years ahead of me. Who is this small boy like me? So you ask people who are ahead of you and they will guide you and say, do it this way, do it that way. So for a lot of them, they will say they just put 100cc, 200cc into each of the breasts, and that was enough. So a breast that did the lift will not benefit so much until when the lift is done and you can now put around. I've seen some surgeons who put around. So, but the question is that how much of that volume that they put around actually survive? That's one part. The second part is that the processing of fat to the breast is different. The fat we use to transfer to the breast is different. The processing is different. The cannula is different. That's another thing. The cannula is different. So because one, there are filters that have been designed for fat grafting, like a lot of the, like in our own clinic here, we use the tulip cannula, which is a well-known international filters and cannulas. Because the cannulas, you have cannulas that are even 0.3 millimeter. So you need to have enough investment on equipment also to be able to do some of those things. So you have to process those things, and you have to go for trainings. There are a lot of trainings on some of these things. There's no shortcut to some of these things that we are doing. You have to be properly trained on how to do it. And when you're even filling it up, now part of the challenges with fat grafting to the breast also is fatty cysts. There's what we call fatty cysts. I've seen all these things. There is fat necrosis. The fat will just go dead. There is also oily cyst. Then you can the other one, which is like infection, which is breast infection. Well, it's rare. It's actually rare. It's not something that is common. You understand? It's not something that is common. But you can have fat necrosis, and when the patient has a fat necrosis, the whole thing will just come out. Oftentimes, it doesn't really get really bad. Now, like in this index thing that is happening now, the other thing I suspect is that because the lady was saying that they were given a particular drug, which doesn't cover all the spectrum of organisms that will be responsible for the infection. I was just laughing and looking at it. that the drugs they are giving doesn't cover all the spectrum. For me, I think it's still a redeemable thing. It's not a big deal. I would not lie. It's not a big deal. It's infection. The infection can be controlled. If there's any lump there, it can be excised and things like that. That breast need a proper lift. There's no need for the hospital to cry. It's not a death sentence. It's still a local infection. It's still a local infection. So all these little things people need to know. So we counsel people on all these things. We write them down. We have like a book that we give to our patients. Say, take note. This is what this thing is all about. So a lot of time, part of the breast, oftentimes they are lost. I would say it's even worse because to the butt, I realized that the fat in the butt survives better compared to the one to the breast. You can have fatty cysts, you can have oily cysts, you can have fatty lump. There's also fatty lump because I've seen the lumps also in the past whereby I have to sometimes excise the lump. Sometimes I use some cannulas, and cannulas I have from Black and Black, I have from Tulip that I use to take out so those fatty lump, or fatty cysts. Oftentimes when you go in, you just realize that the body formed like a circumcised, more or less like it formed like a capsule around the fat or oily cysts, and immediately you take it out, you are done. Now, when somebody called my attention to it, I was telling the person, I said, look, the best surgeon is not the surgeon that gets successful results. The best surgeon is the surgeon that has both success and complication and knows how to handle his complications. It's not just who is telling you that I have 100%, I don't have 100%, I have complications. But how, and you must know as a surgeon how to manage, and all these things you will have explained to your patients that this can happen, this can happen. In that way, they have peace of mind, and you have to reassure them whenever this happens to them. So that's how this thing. So it's, for me, keep calm, talk to the right doctor. The doctor will counsel you. Your breast, there are so many people that have asked me, doctor, can't you just put breast inside because they are avoiding the silicone implant. I will tell them, see, fat will disappear. This breast need a lift. Do a lift. You have good volume. You don't have good. So if I have all those tiny breasts, there are some people that they are size 28, size 32 max, and maybe they are done with breastfeeding, and the breast has lost volume. Those one will need maybe 100 or 200 cc. And in some practice abroad, what some people do is that they will put like 100 cc. So they will ask you to come at intervals. So you do 100 cc, you come back, because with the little grafting, the survival is better. It's somehow guaranteed. So you come back again, you do another 100 cc until when the volume of the breast is gotten. And that does not mean that you can't still have all those fatty cysts, fatty lump, and a lot of other things. So you have to have the right instrumentation to do some of these things.
I think you've practically gotten everything that is there to say. It's also important for people to be educated. I think most times when people see these things, they go like, and it gets exaggerated. Online, I know a lot of things can be blown out of proportion. So the first question we have here is from Bright Hallwood. She's saying, Doctor, what causes abscess in the breast after breast grafting or fat grafting to the breast?
Okay, just like every other procedure, you can have infection. So either through the process of the procedure itself, if what we call aseptic technique is not truly followed, or the process, because in some cases even what people call abscess would just be fat necrosis, meaning that fat death. So everybody, yes, even like that other picture I saw of the butt that was sleeping, and you are saying pus, it's not pus, that's basically fat necrosis, meaning that those fats did not survive. So what the body will do or does is it will push out every dead fat. It's not harmful. I've seen some of them also in the past, but it'll be really long I saw anything like that. So it will come out. Sometimes you tend to notice it when you have some butt that fails to expand as they want. So when those fats don't survive or don't go a good blood supply, they will die and the body will push them out. So one, I have not seen this lady to know precisely or assess what really went wrong, if it is necrosis or infection, but it's something that is treatable.
So we have Aremida asking, what if the boobs is standing already, but someone was sitting like a size 34B?
So because when you say the breast is tiny, so why do you? Okay, so in that way, yeah, well, two options. You still have two options. Basically, you have which is the augmentation, and augmentation could be in form of fat or an implant. So you can do a silicone implant. So just like I do explain to some of my patients when they come in for all those things, I explain to them. So this is the pro, this is the con. So you choose what you want, or you should understand what exactly is involved in the whole thing. You understand? It's just like saying that you want to buy a car. So they will tell you that you need to be buying, change your tire or service the car. Do you understand? You buy fuel. So if you don't have money to buy fuel, don't buy the car. Just keep your money. Do you understand? But a lot of them are referring. Yes. And I feel everything is yes.
Okay, so we have Maria asking, what are the pros and cons of silicone augmentation?
Well, that will be another topic. That's another topic for another day. We'll talk about silicone breast implant. Today we are just talking about fat grafting to the breast, and I'll explain the details. One, there's an initial harvest of the fat. The fat is processed. The process is different from the one for the butt. The butt, you can almost invariably transfer the fat you harvest into the butt without any problem. But for the fat to the breast, you need to have specific cannulas and filters, to filter the fat to make it a little, they call it emulsified. You try to emulsify the fat to smaller size. The other thing is that it has to be small. It has to be small volume. For those doctors that are interested, small volume definitely will probably give you a better result. Then the breast is not the breast that need a lift. Like the picture we saw, that lady need a breast lift. So if she allows all those infections to settle and things and antibiotics cover and things and that, draining if there's a need, she can do a lift and she'll still get a very good breast.
Okay. So someone is asking if there's anything we can do for the lady in question that she's on drugs.
Yeah, she can come to the clinic to see us. That's the first step. She first has to appear in the clinic to see us, so we assess her and we'll know what to do.
Is there any effect of this at old age?
No, there's nothing. It's just like when you see when you are getting old, there are processes that happens to your body, which is the reason why we all wrinkle. You see, you are younger today because you have a lot of. You see, because I did a lot of study on aging. Because as an aesthetic doctor, you must know aging. Now, when you are aging, let me first explain by talking about the skin. The skin has epidermis, dermis, and the fatty layer, which is called the subcutaneous layer. When you are aging, your dermis and the epidermis thins out. They start getting thinner. That's one. The second part is that the fat under your skin also start reducing, which is the reason why you notice your skin is wrinkled. That's basically what explains your wrinkling. The collagen you are producing is not as much as when you are younger.
Yes.
So which is the reason why when you notice that when we are dealing with the face, they talk about filling the face because we are trying to substitute collagen that is being lost, or HA, which is hyaluronic acid that is being lost. So there are a lot of things. So and when you wrinkle and fat is, which is giving the skin volume, is lost, you are going to have excess skin. So it's like a water that fills a balloon, and you are taking away the water. What happened to the balloon? You have excess of that balloon. So that's basically what happened.
So someone is saying, what you're saying in essence is that fat grafting to the breast is more delicate than.
Well, the process is longer, and you have to be careful. You have to be. Well, I wouldn't say experienced. You have been trained.
Yes.
I noticed from other people I have also spoken to, the fat tend to survive better in the butt compared to the breast. So it's not maybe it's more delicate. Definitely, you have to have the right instrumentation. Yeah, because you want to emulsify the fat. So you shouldn't just transfer anything inside. So that's just one of those things.
I think this is one of the most common questions we had always. Anything we do want to know, that is someone still going to breastfeed?
Yes, definitely you can breastfeed because it's fat you are grafting to the breast. The breast to you itself is still there. The breast to you is always there. So it's fat, there's been loss, and that's why there's a volume loss. The volume loss is as a result of fat. The fats are not the one responsible for breast milk production. We explained it this last time that is the alveoli. The alveoli are the ones, the breast alveoli. There's so called alveoli in the breast that's connected to the lactiferous ducts that opens on the nipple. So the alveoli are the one responsible for milk production, while the fats are responsible for the volume. Yes, definitely the breast milk is also part of the volume. You understand? But oftentimes when you have a volume loss of the breast, especially for women, it's because of the fat.
So either Victoria, yeah, when you do a breastfeed or when you do breast augmentation, you can still breastfeed. Like saying, will you still be able to ply a road if it's widened? Of course, you'll be able to use the road. It has nothing to do with the tracks. Ladies' attention is asking, can the silicone implant burst? And can implants cause cancer?
Well, I know about 2 or 3 years ago there was a surge on a particular lymphoma that is associated with what we call a textured implant, because implants, I would say in the past now, because they no longer produce those implants. There's what we call textured and smooth implants. The textured implant was noticed to produce a particular lymphoma, though curable, but in specific percentage of people who have the breast implants. So immediately they noticed that they retrieved those implants from circulation, and those who had got those implants, some of them, not all, because it's not it's not 100%, it's just few percentage. Yes, so for now the smooth implants are not being required to produce any breast cancer. That's the truth. So it was even a lymphoma. You understand? It's a lymphoma that it was causing, and the lymphoma is actually curable.
So Titi Onigele is asking, are you still doing plastic surgery right now, or you're waiting until after Corona? We are fully functional. In fact, we've been following our pages. It's like we are working back to back. So we are functional, and if you want anything, send us a DM and book for consultation. You can come and go see. Can breast lift still fall?
Well, yes, it's possible, but it's not going to be as worse as before the procedure. Yeah, so I always tell from my own experience and from the little amount of clients I've seen that from 20, majority of people have already started having some degree of ptosis or breast sagginess from 20. Yes, we all know that aging actually starts from 20. People that don't, you start aging from 20. So definitely it can, but oftentimes not as much as when you have done it. Or less than you have done, because majority of the time what makes the breast to fall is actually breastfeeding. Apart from those who have very huge breasts, or those who have very lax breasts also, those who have very thick skin that cannot support the volume of the breast. So those are the ones I notice. But however, majority of the time it's because of breastfeeding. So if you are done with breastfeeding and you do a breast lift, you might not go down as much as before. So that is the answer.
Okay, during our couple visit days, concerning safety, would you say silicone implants or fat grafting, which is safer?
Well, both of them are safe. Both of them are very safe. So if you know what you are doing, both of them are actually safe. The uniqueness about breast implants is that the industrial manufacturer advised that after 10 years you remove it and put another one. Part of the reason why there is a removal of implants could be because of capsule. So it's the capsule that majority of time we are worried about, because oftentimes if you have a patient that has a capsular contracture, the risk of the person having another capsular contracture is there again. So otherwise, with the non-touch technique that is being used, infection is almost reduced to about less than 2%. I can't even remember seeing any of them. Okay, I've seen one of the implants, of all the breast implants I've done, one of the implants just maybe failed or something. So I just told her, just wait. The right one was good, the left was the one that it was as if there was infection or something. So I told her, just wait, allow the breast to settle. Then I took out that one, put another one inside. It's almost 3 years or more than 3 years now. And the person has not come back to report any problem.
Okay, so call me Jane is asking, is fat grafting to the breast the same as a breast lift?
No, they are not the same thing. So they are not the same thing. In lifts, you go to our page and see what a breast lift looks like. Or go to our website and read about breast. In breast lifting, basically what we are doing is that we are doing all the manipulation around the skin and the breast
Especially for
tissue.
people that have big volume, big breasts.
Well, not necessarily big breast, saggy breast.
Saggy
A breast lift is basically for saggy
saggy
breast.
breast.
So a saggy breast can be big or small. That's just it. So those ones that really have, either they want more volume, or as a surgeon we notice that it's a small volume. So we can do a lift and advise them to do augmentation with it.
So it's in the augmentation that you either do with silicone,
Or
an
fat.
implant, or the loose fat, just support the side. I am lazy. How do we maintain fat transfer?
Maintain.
Maintenance.
There's nothing like maintain. There's no word like that. If it's there, it's there. There's no need for, except you have a complication.
Jack Sanjo saying, is all this cosmetic surgery really necessary?
Well, except you're a patient, you don't know. So just stay in your lane. You have to be a patient for you to understand. Just like saying that it's necessary for someone to buy a 65 million naira car. If you don't have the money, don't bother yourself. When you get to this level, you understand. So you don't need to understand. It's that person's problem.
Okay, how long is the lady supposed to heal after fat grafting?
Well, for me, fat grafting doesn't really need anything apart from maybe swelling or a little pain. There's really no defined movement. Maybe it's fat and settle, that's all. It can actually be like an office procedure. Because I've done some like that, like an office where they just come in, they will filtrate an area, take out the fat, put it on both sides of the breast, make sure it can go.
Okay, so that will be all for today. If you have further questions, you can send us a DM. For now, bye and see you next week.
Okay, so bye bye. So I'll see you guys once again next week. So if you have any other question we've not been able to answer, send it to us on our DM on one side. So I'll see you guys soon. Bye bye.